Hello everyone, welcome to the Cinema Analysis channel. I am Juzo. This channel will explore the hidden truths of films that are not usually revealed. Today I'd like to talk about Chinatown. It is a film that will be remembered as a historic masterpiece among the countless film noirs. The script written by Towne won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. What is so excellent about the film? I'll talk about it. If you haven't seen the film, I suggest you watch it first. So let's get started. The story is about a detective fighting against evil in society. The film Chinatown is considered to be a film noir. In contrast, there is also a genre known as the hard-boiled film. Hard-boiled itself is a literary genre, and films that portray this style are called hard-boiled films. The Maltese Falcon is a typical example. So why is Chinatown called a film noir rather than a hard-boiled film? This is probably because it focuses on depicting the darkness of the world rather than the toughness of the protagonist. The plot of almost every entertainment detective film can be traced back to the Maltese Falcon. The hero fails in what seems to be a simple mission, is nearly framed for a crime he didn't commit, uncovers the truth and defeats the evil that set him up. In these stories, the villain is often the client. The Maltese Falcon, the plot is slightly more complex than in later works, partly because even the protagonist could be considered a suspect, as the protagonist's emotions are not conveyed through a third-person perspective. The story's mystery deepens. Later works based on the Maltese Falcon tend to have a simpler plot structure. As a landmark in detective fiction, the Maltese Falcon influenced not only detective stories, but virtually all forms of entertainment. It could be said that Chinatown created an entirely new style of detective story. Both hard-boiled and noir stories are set in dark, corrupt societies. The Maltese Falcon was published in 1930, the year after the onset of the Great Depression. Chinatown is set in Los Angeles in 1937. Although Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal policy had begun, the effects of the Depression were still being felt. The film was released in 1974 when the Vietnam War was drawing to a tragic close. At the time, the American film industry was producing works known as New Hollywood or American New Cinema, often featuring outlaws and anti-heroes as main characters, protagonists who survive in a grim and unforgiving world. In both the Maltese Falcon and Chinatown, the detective takes on a case and problems soon arise. In the Maltese Falcon, the protagonist's partner is murdered, and he himself comes under suspicion. In Chinatown, Jake Gittes is hired by a woman claiming to be Evelyn Morey to obtain proof of her husband Hollis's infidelity. Gittes photographs Hollis with a young woman, and the pictures appear in the newspaper. Soon it becomes clear that the Evelyn who hired him was an imposter. In both cases, the protagonist is cornered. In the Maltese Falcon, the client's betrayal becomes clear only in the latter part of the story, while in Chinatown it is revealed only on after which the real Evelyn hires Gittes for the case, and her husband Horace is discovered dead. Gittes' initial assignment is to gather proof of Horace's affair, while following him, subtle foreshadowing for later development is planted. The dispute over water rights. Horace is confronting an elderly man, the cryptic phrase "apple core," the fish model and the painting in the Water Bureau office. Gittes' face reflected in the frame. When Gittes visits the Morey mansion, the gardener cleaning the pond remarks "bad for grass." The meaning is unclear at the time but will later be revealed. There are also the grasses found at the bottom of the pond. Hollis wore glasses when Gittes tailed him, yet his body did not. They might, however, have been lost in the river. When questioned by the police, Evelyn admits the detail about the impostor who hired Gittes. She also denies knowing the young woman seen with her husband, a lie that will later be exposed. Evelyn remains a figure shrouded in mystery. Gittes' reason for pursuing the case is simple. If he lets the deception stand, he can maintain his reputation as a private detective. Sam Spade in the Maltese Falcon has the same motivation. Discovering who killed his partner is a matter of personal honor. Gittes, a former police officer, begins to investigate the case, relying on all his connections. The drowned body of a homeless man who had been living under a bridge is discovered, but the river is dry, so why did he die by drowning? Although the area is suffering from a water shortage, Hollis is opposed to building a dam. What is the real reason? In The Maltese Falcon, after his business partner is murdered, the protagonist immediately changes the name of his office. This cold-hearted practicality creates a distinctly hard-boiled atmosphere. In Chinatown, the protagonist never loses a partner, but there is a similar moment. After Hollis, once the target of surveillance dies, the name of the water department office where he worked is changed. This is likely an homage to the Maltese Falcon. While investigating, Gittes is seriously injured when a thug slashes his nose. The thug is played by director Roman Polanski. For the scene, he had a custom knife made to avoid injuring Jack Nicholson's nose, but he warned Nicholson that if he turned the blade the wrong way, it could actually cut him. This made Nicholson's reaction all the more convincing. Evelyn's story also changes over time. Gittes realizes she is hiding something and confronts her. She claims she knew about her husband's affair. Later, it is revealed that Hollis had not been cheating on her at all. Evelyn also pretends that she herself had been unfaithful, which is another lie. Gittes then concludes that someone deliberately caused the water shortage and that Hollis was killed when he discovered it. This revelation comes relatively early in the story. It could have served as a final twist, but an even more shocking truth is yet to come. A photograph emerges showing Noel Cross, a alleged owner of the water company, together with Hollis Murray. Evelyn's maiden name is also Cross. It is eventually revealed that Evelyn is Noel Cross's daughter. Gittes is then invited by Noel Cross to the Arbuckle Club. The painting in Yerburton's office depicts the club's logo. This is what Gittes' association had been referring to when he said Apple Core. This is the first on-screen meeting between Gittes and Noel Cross, who had previously only appeared in photographs. The scene is masterfully directed. Noel Cross is played by film director John Huston, whose performance is exceptional. Huston won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor for The Cardinal, and was nominated for an Academy Award for the same role. In Momo, he portrays a wholly benevolent master horror who helps the protagonist. As Noel Cross, Huston smiles and speaks in a calm, almost friendly manner, not appearing villainous at first. Although earlier hints suggest that Cross believes the water resources are his personal property, he does not seem overtly menacing. But he is in fact the embodiment of evil. This is subtly revealed through a slip of the tongue. He mistakes Gittes' name for Gitz. This small detail hints at his arrogance and true nature, though it remains hidden beneath his dignified facade. Noel Cross asks Gittes to find a young woman who had been seen with Hollis, and Gittes agrees, leading to tragedy. Gittes then receives a call from the imposter who had posed as Evelyn Murray. She introduces herself as Ida Sessions and tells Gideon to check the newspaper obituaries. From there, he examines the land registry to see who purchased farmland that had been abandoned due to the water shortage. He discovered that all the buyers live in the same nursing home and some purchased the land even after their deaths. From this, Gideon deduces that the real motive is to deliberately cause a water shortage, driving down land prices, then buy the land cheaply, flood it, and sell it at a much higher value. A massive profiteering scheme. While investigating the nursing home, Gideon's life is threatened, but Evelyn rescues him. An attacker fires at their car from behind, narrowly missing. If you watch the scene again, you'll notice Evelyn holding her left eye, an unnoticed but powerful piece of foreshadowing. The two spend the night together. Evelyn describes Norcross as a frightening man, but Gideon remains skeptical. Later, after Evelyn receives a phone call, Gideon tells her. Before following, he removes the red cover from her car's right taillight. Both a tracking method and another piece of foreshadowing. Ida Sessions is found dead. The police claim that Evelyn killed Hollis. They found salt water in Hollis's lungs. The gardener says that the pond water is salt water, which is why it's bad for the lawn. Gideon finds glasses in the pond. Gideon is convinced that Evelyn committed the crime. He storms into her hideout and calls the police. He demands that she tells him the truth. This scene is reminiscent of the final scene of the Maltese Falcon. Sam Spade calls the police in front of his client and interrogates her. The film ends with us realizing that the client was the mastermind behind the crime. However, it seems that Gideon is not like Sam Spade. His guess was completely wrong. Evelyn was the mother of his mistress, Catherine, and the father was Noah Cross. Noah raped his own daughter, impregnated her, then Catherine was born. That's why Evelyn called her daughter and sister. There's a term called femme fatale. It's a woman whose charms mislead men into making bad decisions, leading to disastrous results.